So I know you guys love mock drafts, and I'm going to start doing some free agency mock drafts. Using Spot Rack, I am going to go through what I would do with the Bears' proposed $63 million in 2024 offseason. I'm going to get rid of a few vets on the roster to open up opportunities to sign guys that will be on for a long-term future and land the free agents that I think this team needs in order to move forward before they go to the draft. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to this episode of Just Another Year Chicago. My name is Nick Brody, and as always, thank you for tuning in and happy holidays. Bears are not only twice in the top 10 for the NFL draft, but they are also in the top 10 for spending this upcoming offseason on free agency. Ryan Poles can make some moves. I am going to go through who I want Chicago to cut, re-sign, and sign in free agency. Before I begin, if you want the Chicago Bears to be very active and spend the bag in this upcoming free agency period, smash that like button on this video. Put your thoughts in the comment section below who you want the Chicago Bears to sign to improve this roster. And as always, please hit that subscribe button. You especially want to hit that subscribe button now as we are giving away an autographed Jaylon Johnson jersey, the orange edition. It is autographed, Beckett certified, for you to enter. Again, all you need to do is subscribe to the channel, like this video, and put bear down in the comment section below, along with your thoughts on free agency. Winner will be announced Christmas Day. So let's kick things off with who I am cutting from this roster. To start with one of the bigger contracts, I am cutting safety Eddie Jackson. Jackson will be owed $18.14 million next year for the Chicago Bears, and his level of play as of late can be similarly matched to someone much cheaper and potentially outperform him. And if Chicago does cut him, they will have $5.58 million in dead cap next year, but they will save $12.14 million, putting the Bears up to $75.13 million after cutting Jackson. My next cut would be veteran center Cody Whitehair. He was benched a few weeks back because of his play, and either he's going to retire after this season or the Chicago Bears are going to end up releasing him and he'll go to another team. Chicago will get their center of the future in the upcoming draft, and I've talked about that in a few mock drafts recently. But Whitehair is owed $13.25 million in 2024, and with cutting him, they will have $4.14 million in dead cap, but save $8.75 million, and that puts the Bears over $83 million in cap after that situation. Then I am cutting running back Travis Homer, who really hasn't done much this year. He was brought in as a special teams guy, but I've seen more guys like Josh Blackwell out there doing a ton more, and I think that with him on the books next year, we can save some money and get rid of him. Cutting him, we do have to chew $225,000, but we save $2 million in cap, putting the Bears at $85 million. And then finally, offensive tackle Larry Borom. He's had his moments in Chicago, but I think he needs a fresh start somewhere else. He still has a lot of potential and is young. And with this move, the Bears will have to chew $83,000 in cap, but they will save $953,000, putting the Bears closer to that $86 million mark. So after that, before I even go talking to free agents, I'm going to re-sign a few guys on the roster that have been a huge part of this team recently and will be in the future. Easy money, Jaylon Johnson. He's been playing out of his mind, deserves the bag, 4 interceptions, 9 pass deflections this year, a ton of tackles, and a QBR of less than 40 when he's targeted. I mean, come on. Give that man $16 million a year. He's been playing for it. Make it cap friendly. Make a couple signing bonuses in there. Make sure that he is getting what he deserves in the NFL. Kind of mentioned him before too, but then I'm re-picking up Josh Blackwell. One of our best special teamers this year. He's fast and also knows our defense, a great depth piece. He's been on the team for the last 2 years, and he's been signing 1-year contracts. Sign him to another 1-year, $1 million contract before even free agency begins. A valuable player to the locker room, good with the guys, like Josh Blackwell a lot. Easy, long snapper Patrick Scales, give him his contract from last year, 1 year, $1.3 million, and the Bears still have $6.7 million after. Kicker Cairo Santos, this is easy money as well. He's been fantastic for the Bears, and I wish we had him back in 2018, but we don't. So anyway, let's go back to the future. Sign him to a 3-year, $9.99 million contract, and let the Bears still have $63.9 million after that. Now, here's one of the guys that a lot of people are not very fond of this, but if you look at the breakdown, I would like to bring him back for sure. Defensive tackle Justin Jones. Jones this year has 44 total tackles, 3.5 sacks, sacks, 9 tackles for loss, 15 quarterback hits, and 4 pass deflections. Keep that in mind, though, when comparing him to Christian Wilkins, who is a guy that people want Chicago to bring in from Miami, who's going to want a ton of money in free agency. He has 54 total tackles, 8 sacks, 4.5 more than Jones, but 10 tackles for loss, only 1 more than Jones, 19 quarterback hits, which is only 4 more than Jones, 2 pass deflections, which is less than Justin Jones, and 1 forced fumble. So besides the sack category, there's really not a big difference between these two guys. And yes, Wilkins is definitely a game record, but I cannot justify paying him that much money. Bring Justin Jones back, sign him to a 2-year, $18 million deal, and that leaves Chicago with $52.9 million in cap. So with that $52.9 million left over, I'm going to go over to free agency. And guys, thank you again for your continued support. I know I said it earlier in the video, but please hit that subscribe button on the channel. I am so close to 10,000, and I'm trying to hit that before the year is over. If I hit that, it helps the channel out tremendously. It helps me as a content creator so I can make this full time and give you guys Bears news all the time. So back to free agency, I'm going to put $18 million aside for my rookies that I'm going to be drafting. So that leaves Chicago with $34.9 million. Talked about him yesterday, and I'm going to talk about it probably again, but I'm talking about safety Jordan Whitehead from the New York Jets. He's been balling for the Jets this year with 4 interceptions and 10 pass deflections so far. He's still young at 26 years old. He's a beast. He's fast. He's hard-hitting. He causes turnovers, and he would thrive in our secondary. Currently making $5.25 million. He's probably going to want to double that with how well he's been playing over the last couple of years. So I would give him a 3-year, $32 million contract, leaving me with $24.5 million left. And then here's a guy that I really didn't know about until I started looking him up a little bit more, and he is the guy I would want across from Montez Sweat. Edge A.J Epenesa from the Buffalo Bills. This dude over the last couple of seasons has been a silent monster in the NFL, having a heavy pass rush rating, also a sack machine. And with this year's heavy free agency class at the edge position, I think he could slip and the Bears could get him for a good bargain. This year, he has 6.5 sacks, 19 total tackles, 6 tackles for loss, 10 quarterback hits, 1 interception, 8 pass deflections, 1 forced fumble, and 1 fumble recovery for the Bills. As a backup, the 25-year-old could get a nice contract this upcoming year. And with back-to-back 6.5 sack seasons for the Bills and more pressure on the quarterback, I would sign him to a 2-year, $25 million contract as a prove-it to make sure he can keep it up. And if he starts getting that 10-sack status with the Chicago Bears, give him the bag that he deserves after. So that leaves me with $12.5 million left. Then I'm going to get some depth guys. I'm going to take in tight end Adam Trautman from the Denver Broncos. The 6'5", 253-pound tight end is doing well with Denver this year as a second stringer. He has an 8.7 yard per catch average with 3 touchdowns for the Broncos. He's a good tight end too that could not drop passes like Robert Tonyan. He's got good hands, and only at 26 years old, I would sign him to a 2-year, $6 million contract, leaving me with about $9.5 million left for cap. A guy that no one's talking about, but the more I researched him, the more I like, is wide receiver Nick Westbrook from the Tennessee Titans. The 6'1", 211-pound wide receiver is a great replacement for Equanimeous St. Brown as the big wide receiver on this roster. Also, he's a great run blocker like Equanimeous St. Brown. He has a 13.2 yard per catch average, so he's constantly getting first downs with 3 touchdown receptions this year for the Titans. And I would sign him to a prove-it contract of a 1-year, $2.5 million contract, leaving me with $7 million left. With D'Onta Foreman likely on the move after this year, I'm going to take in running back Rico Dowdle from the Denver Cowboys. The 6', 215-pound tank of a running back fulfills that need of a big running back like D'Onta Foreman. He moves the chains with a 4.0 yard per carry average and has learned a ton behind Tony Pollard in Dallas. He also has 2 rushing touchdowns this year for the action that he gets. I would also sign him to a 1-year, $2.5 million contract like D'Onta Foreman, leaving me with $4 million left in cap. And the final guy I'm bringing in to replace Larry Borom is offensive tackle Matthew Peart from the New York Giants. The 6'7", 315-pound offensive tackle is a monster of a man, and he never has really gotten his chance to shine in the NFL, but I think coming to Chicago, it could change his ways. I think we can get him in cheap and a steal because of the fact that he doesn't play, but why I like this guy, he has a 9.01 RAS score, and if you don't know what RAS score is, it stands for your relative athletic score, which Ryan polls really only looks at guys above an 8. So this guy is athletic for being that big, a great depth piece behind Braxton Jones or whoever the next Chicago Bears offensive tackle is if they decide to go with one in the draft. But I would sign him to a 1-year, $2 million contract, leaving me with $2.5 million left to potentially pick up some veterans later in camp that get dropped. I went heavy with the depth guys here because I think that they're going to address a lot of starters in the draft. Like Ryan Poles has said, he wants to build this team through the draft. So you get a couple of starters, but mainly depth pieces on short-term contracts for the prove themselves. Put your thoughts in the comment section below, guys. Thank you again for your continued support. And as always, thank you for joining this episode of Just Another Year Chicago. My name is Nick Rhodey, and as always, bear down, baby, and happy holidays.